Hey everyone, and welcome back to Documenting Simple Living. I'm Nico, and on this channel I share simple living skills for the modern world. Normally lots of tinctures and herbal skincare and that sort of thing, but today I am sharing a thrift store haul. My family and I live in the UK. We are slowly renovating our first home. We live in a 1890s Victorian apartment. If you've done DIYs before, you know that it's a slow process, especially when you have lots of little kids like us. One thing I love to do is go to the charity shops around here, the thrift stores, and find things that are beautiful, well-made, high quality, and during the midst of a renovation still be able to use some very beautiful things. So I wanted to share some of my recent finds with you, and I'll tell you about how much I paid for everything. I found quite a few things this time. I would say I found these things over the past maybe 2 months. The first thing to show you is some pottery. I'm a big fan of pottery. Buying it new is usually very expensive, although I will do that if the potter is someone who I really love their style. But whenever I can find pottery secondhand, it's very difficult for me to pass it up. I found 4 pieces that I will show you. This little cereal bowl that I found at a thrift store. Nice green little cereal bowl. I love the worn look of it. I love the glazing, the pattern of the lines inside, and it's very heavy in my hand. I like sturdy, well-made things, and this bowl feels heavy and well-made. I also found these 2 matching cereal bowls or dessert bowls or, whatever, salad bowls from the same maker's mark. And they're like a browny yellow speckly glaze. And it's glazed only on the inside, it looks like. On the outside it's just raw. These feel very heavy and well made. I like how they look when they're nested in each other. In our kitchen, I'm hoping to tear out some of the cabinets we have at the moment eventually and add like open shelving so we can see all of the beautiful pottery that I've been collecting for years. We have a very large collection of pottery bowls now because I have a hard time passing them up when I find them at thrift stores. And actually here in the UK, you can find nice pottery in thrift stores quite easily. In terms of pricing, I believe this bowl, the little green bowl, was £5 or maybe a bit more. And for the set of 2 bowls, it was £15. So it's not the cheapest, but still very reasonable. And of course, if you were to buy these from the original potter, it would be much more. If you have little kids like us, you know that you go through a lot of those little bowls. I tend not to give them my favorite pottery bowls, but I like that they eat off of nice plates and bowls, and so I usually buy pottery with the understanding that it's not going to be with us forever. I also found this big bowl. It's probably 10 inches diameter, and it's glazed inside. It has a nice rim on the bottom, which is helpful when you're holding it. You can kind of grab onto the bottom. I've used it for a huge salad, big soup. It's a good size, I would say, good mixing bowl. There is a crack in the side, so again, it's not going to be with us forever, but it was £6.50, and which is a good price, I think, for this size bowl, and that was priced that way, I think, because of the damage. I love the pattern. It's kind of looks like little flowers to me, but I like that they're not super bright. I like a more muted color palette. The next thing I found was this set of cloth napkins. They have beautiful little hand embroidered flowers on each of them, and then they have the scalloped edging that's embroidered as well. I think this is a set of 12 that I found. We don't normally use these. It's just too much laundry to use cloth napkins at every meal, but we are hosting a big spring party here in a few weeks, and so I thought it would be nice for everybody to use a proper napkin at the spring party. A little decorum. I think they were 25 pence each, so £3 altogether for that set of 12. I can't tell if they're cotton or linen, but I think they're probably cotton. Very nice. The next thing I got, again for that spring party, is this cake server. I liked the wooden handle. This one is made in England, so it's a bit older. It has the serrated edge, which I like for, cutting that cake. Thought that would be nice for our spring party as well. I think this was 50 pence. I also picked up 4 vintage spoons. They're all stainless steel, and they have like pretty detailing on the stem, which I like. They feel good in the hand. You can tell they're kind of solid, and I noticed that we were always needing more spoons, so I just picked them up. I think they were each maybe 50 pence at one of our local thrift shops. So £2 in total for those, which is, to be honest, a little pricey, but still £2 is okay. The next thing is this little picture frame with a lino cut made from wood. Is it a wood lino cut? It's a little picture, and it has, the title of it is called Midnight Preserves. Yeah, I thought it was just really nice. And once our kitchen is put together, that will be hanging in the kitchen. You can see the artist's name. It says AV, and then it says 2024, so recent, and 13 out of 50. So very cute. I was happy to find that. The next thing I got was this very big basket, and the lid opens. It's attached, so it's like a treasure chest. It opens, and it has like a sea green stripe on the side there with some red, like a bit of pinky red. And then it has like a green base to it and brass hinges. And I actually found this for free next to a bin on the street. I carried it home with our double stroller, like on the hood of our double stroller. And then I took it on the bus as well, but I was not going to leave it. When I saw that, there is some damage, like light damage to the top. You can see some of the weaving has come loose, and there's only one handle. I think it was actually designed with only just like one handle on the side, because there's nothing like obviously missing on that side, but there's loose weaving and like some holes and spots. But honestly, I like the look of that. I like worn, lived in. For me, it just feels a bit cozy when things have some character to them. So I was not put off by those missing pieces at all. I loved it. We have a lot of baskets around our house. In these old flats, there's not any storage, and we don't have a ton of stuff, but you know, we have routers and cables and kids' toys, and you can't really get rid of, but you need a place to put them. And these baskets, especially the ones with lids, that are attached, because otherwise I find that the lids like float around the house and you're just left with an open basket full of random things. When you can find baskets with a lid that attaches, I find that that's the best to hide things. So we have been keeping cables in here, the router and like charging cables. And it's nice because they're all hidden in this basket. The next thing I found is this oil painting of a rose, a red rose. I think it's very beautiful. I really couldn't believe it when I found it, because it was only, I think, 15 pounds or something, which normally in thrift stores here, they know what they have, as opposed to in the US. The thrift stores here are very curated. It's like an experience when you go into them. And it's hard to find a thrift store, at least in my experience here in the UK, that isn't that way. They're all tiny. They're all like, you know, one room, and they have things that are very curated, and they know when they have good quality things. And I went into a thrift store here, saw this on the wall, was like, that is an original oil painting, and it's been framed, but you can see on the back like the canvas. And it was 15 pounds. It was actually discounted to 15 pounds. I think they originally marked it 25. So I just thought, I need to have that. It's beautiful. I love finding original art in thrift stores. I love having art around from people who, you know, put time and effort into creating beautiful pieces of art. Not a big fan of the silver frame, so I was gonna probably paint that at some point. The next thing I got were lots of children's books. I love the kind of older books. I just think that stories are quite charming, and I love the illustrations that come in older books for kids. So we have The Adventures of Chatterer the Red Squirrel, early reader chapter book. Still has some pictures in it, which is quite sweet. The Biggest Valentine Ever. I tend to have a bunch of picture books, and I sort out ones for summer, winter, different holidays, and then I just kind of bring them out when it's the right time of year. So I'm going to put this one away for next year. The Cat Who Found His Way Home. Sometimes when I look at these picture books, it kind of triggers a memory in my own childhood. I think I had definitely read some of these books by this illustrator. as a child because these pictures seem familiar to me. Kitten finds a home, another just sweet story. This one actually has flaps in it, which who doesn't love a flap book? The biggest Christmas tree ever. So this will be saved for next Christmas. The biggest pumpkin ever. A whole series. Somebody must have donated their series of these books, but this one will be saved for Halloween or for autumn next year. The Cat Who Lost His Purr. This is all by that same author, Michelle Coxon. I like the illustrations in it, very beautiful. This one is an alphabet book, and I love the pictures. Beautiful graphic pictures of different things, like G for girl, H for house, just beautiful. J for jungle, beautiful, beautiful. And finally, The Honeymakers by Gail Gibbons. This one I'll keep out for spring. It's about honeybees and learning all the different parts of honeybees and of the hives, how they make honey. This will be good for me as well to learn all this again. But again, it's, you know, beautiful illustrations that somebody's drawn. I thought that was a really good selection of picture books from a local charity shop. All of them were, I think, 50 pence or maybe a pound. It could have been a pound. There's one charity shop locally that does a pound for every book. Last but not least is this wool rug. I will roll it out so you can see it. It's a runner and it's kind of probably 4 feet by 2 feet, 2.5 feet, maybe 4.5 feet by 2.5 feet. It fits in our hallway, so at night it fits, you know, as a runner. And I saw it hanging in the window of the shop, and I have found 3 wool rugs at that shop, and the woman told me that there's a man in the area who is cleaning out his house, and he's like lived all over the world, and he's slowly donating things he doesn't want, and he's donating all of his, or a selection of his wool rugs. And I bought, this is my 3rd, I believe, of his. Very happy with the rug. I paid a lot of money for it. I think, was it 45 pounds, which is a lot. But I know it's worth more. I know it's worth a lot more. So the resale value holds on wool rugs. If we ever don't want it, I know I can sell it. I'm always looking for nice wool rugs to put throughout the house because the floors in these old flats get quite cold, and we have wood floors, and so it helps to dampen the sound of many children running on the floor. And I think they're really cozy and nice. So whenever I see them, again, it's like the pottery. I have a hard time passing them by. So that is what I found over about the last 2 months. I'm gonna continue. I'm always on the hunt for things. I'm always popping into charity shops here, seeing what they have. So much fun. I love shopping secondhand because the feeling of things having had a life before they come to you, that worn, sort of warm feeling, I really love that. The more cozy and textured is something I want our whole flat to feel like. And I also really like quality things, like, this wool rug is well made. The pottery is made by hands that know what they're doing with good materials. Books are high quality, thoughtful, hand-drawn illustrations. I love that. And if I were to buy all this stuff brand new, there's just no way we could afford that. So I love scouring thrift shops to find nice things. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you enjoy these kind of thrift hauls, let me know. I'm happy to do more of them. I hope to find lots more beautiful things to slowly fill our home with over the coming years. Make sure to subscribe, and as always, thank you for stopping by, and I'll speak to you in the next Documenting Simple Living video.